is around? All right, we just got 5 people, so we're gonna hang out for a minute while we get some people in here. Get some more light. Hey, Bob. Trying to float my hand more instead of resting my palm on the bridge. I see a lot of the really fast players, they don't rest their hand, but I don't know. Well, let's see. Hey, TBT. Let's see. Bob, Diane, Broken Thumbs, Ed, Jim, Vito, Dennis. Jim already said hi. Bonnie, there's Bonnie. Usually, if there's a Jim, there's a Bonnie. Jim Horst is here. Good to see you, Jim. We're going to talk about. Leo's not here yet, but Leo was the one that. Oh, David Tillers, hey. David, you're in Scotland. I want to go to Scotland. That movie I was talking about the other day, The Last Fix, I think it was called. I need to order it on Amazon. The director, I sat next to the director on a flight to Louisville, and really, really nice guy. He's from Scotland. His wife is a journalist you might know there. Let's see, what's her name? She's written a lot of books. I think she's a newscaster. You might know her because I think, David, you're in Scotland, right? Let's see. His name is Norman Brown or Norman Stone. A lot of stuff for BBC. Super nice guy. Let's see. Sally Magnuson. So what has she done? She's like a newscaster or something. Scottish broadcaster and writer, worker, BBC Radio, BBC Scotland. Anyway, I don't know. I haven't met her. I just met him. Like I said, we were on a flight to Louisville. He was actually working on his movie. Oh, Hook's in the house. Sharon, what's going on? Yeah, right? Let's see. That would be great. Yeah, I definitely, like I said, Scotland's definitely on our short list. The problem is, when are we going to get to go to Europe again? We might go to Eastern Europe. They're probably a little bit more open to having Americans. I've been wanting to go to Budapest and Prague. So we might do like a 5-day kind of thing. I like to stay in one place generally and pretend like I'm a citizen for about 10 days. Go to the same restaurant a couple times, go to the same bakery, 5 times, go to the same coffee shop every day, go to the same bar a couple times, and maybe get to know a few people. And I like it that way. Oh, they have a daughter named Anna or something? I know they have a lot of kids. So, and they live in Scotland, so I know that. Let's see. Let's see, David, my wife is signed up for a walking tour of the Isle of Skye in Leighton. Oh, you'd be fine. Yeah, that's the thing, is are they letting Yanks in? That's the question. Hopefully, airlines are pretty good right now about giving you refunds, or at least giving you, I don't know how they're making any money, to be honest, but at least allowing you to change your plans without any major cost. But if you go much later in September, I imagine it's pretty darn cold. I think summers are cold in Scotland. It's funny because we had a Scottish neighbor in our building in Pasadena, and they would sleep with their windows open and like 10 blankets on. It doesn't matter how cold it is. They just left their windows open, slept it, and that's what they liked. If the air was really cold, they would breathe that. That was, she said that's what they always did. California was like really hot to her. Yeah, so Leo was the one that was asking about the, or reminding me to do the major pentatonic blues version, and it's not hard. You should be able to get it down. So Sharon, you're looking for something new to learn. Basically, that's that most famous lick in bluegrass. Kind of it's a have to know lick. Is really based on that major pentatonic blues lick or scale. Just gotta practice. You gotta play them sometimes a million times just to get them so they feel right. So let's see how many I think we're plenty. We got plenty. Yeah, we're sitting around 25. So okay. So this basically, if you remember the major pentatonic, here's the minor pentatonics. Here's major scale. Here's the major pentatonic. Okay, so we have this three. This is up on Discord site. In fact, I'm going to put it on this page. Okay, so they're all together. I don't want to start a new page just with 3 scales. So I'll put them down here on the bottom row. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a flat 3. Okay, so if you remember, the major pentatonic notes are 1 or root. I like to call it 2, 3, 5, and 6. Okay, it's a pentatonic. There's 5 notes, and the 5 notes are the root, the 2nd, the 3rd, the 5th, and the 6th. And then, of course, the root again. So in G, that would be 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the 6th string. Okay. Then open A string, 2nd fret, which is the B. Open D string, 2nd fret, which is E. And this just looks like a E blues pentatonic too. Open G, 2nd fret, A. Open B, 3rd fret. Open E, 3rd fret. And then backwards 3 0, 3 0, 2 0, 2 0, 2 0, and 3. And if you want to, you can go down to the E if you want to complete all the notes possible. So we have all 6 open strings are in play, and then the other 6 notes are here: 3 2 2 2 3 3. So you remember when we did blues. Same exact scale. In fact, we're going to add the blues note. So it's going to be basically the E minor blues, but we're going to start on G. So it's not difficult at all. Okay. And so the notes in the blues will be a root, a 2nd, a flat 3rd, a 3rd, a 5th, a 6th. However, just know that there won't be a quiz on this. It's actually empty. My acting is not very good. I love it when I watch actors drink or eat, because it's funny. If they've got dialogue to deliver, they pretend to eat or they pretend to drink. So I got mine. Did you get yours? Peter, you ordered a shirt. You got your shirt. And I need to upload that new design. Do I have pants? Yes. Pepper, I've got pants. Or these are painted on, actually. This is just paint. Did a really good job. It took me all night. And Pepper's here. I thought you weren't going to be here till Monday, but I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're feeling better. And I was going to ask you a question. You can put them in there at any point, Pepper, but just I would love to know what some of your favorite comedians are, because that's something you aspire to. It's kind of like people ask me, what are my favorite guitar players? Of course, that's an almost endless list, and I'm sure it's probably the same with you. Oh, you're listening but not feeling too hot. Well, I'm sorry about that. You take care of yourself. Okay, so the pentatonic, the notes are going to be G, A, B flat, B, D, and E. Those are the actual letter notes. Okay, so let's do this. Third fret on the third string. Third finger on the third fret of the sixth string, and then open 1, 2. So that's A, B flat, and then B. And if you want, you can go backwards. But you can really hear that. It's kind of, and what's happening here is B is the third of the chord. Again, there will be no quiz on this, so take a sip. You all are going to have to get these mugs now, so we can take a fake sip out. I was going to put something in it, but I just was like, I forgot. That's an official sip. But the flat third wants to go to the third, at least over a major chord. All I'm doing there is I'm doing the B flat to the B, and then I'm hitting the G string. Okay, so back to the beginning of the scale. Third fret, sixth string. Open A, first fret, second fret. Open D, E, second fret, and then G. Okay, now with that much of the scale, let me get my footrest. With that much of the scale, we have the makings of the most common bluegrass lick. Okay, all that is the scale, and then you go back to the open D, and then you hit the G. So it's 3, 0 on the A, 1, 2, open D, second fret, open D, open G. Always nice to kind of finish off with a chord too on that. So I'll go again slow. Third fret, open, first fret, second fret, open, second fret, back down to open, and then open next string. Yeah, those are all great, Pepper. George Carlin was so good. Billy Crystal, yeah. I forget that Billy Crystal was stand-up. The first thing he did was Soap. And then Whoopi, of course, was stand-up. I like Ellen, too. She was so great early on. I love pulling up the old Johnny Carson when those comedians all got to make their first appearance on Johnny Carson. They are so nervous because that's like, if you make it there, if Johnny invited you back to the chair, you knew you were going to had a career. Everyone says that. It's so amazing. So. Keith is in the house. Oh, Leo's here. Good. I'm glad. Okay, Leo, I'm doing the lesson. Okay, so let's continue that scale. So we have third fret, open, 1, 2, open, 2, open, 2, 3. There's our B flat. Okay, it's a little harder to get the B flat because open B is the B. You don't want to tune down to get B flat. So it's on the G string, it's G, A to second fret, B flat on the third fret, and then open B. The lick is a little harder there. I haven't even thought about like shedding that one. Shedding is short for wood shedding, which means just go in the woodshed and practice until you got it. So it's not you're not getting spanked. It's nothing like that. I think it was a Charlie Parker term, but I'm not sure. I know that it goes back to Charlie Parker's time, but I'm not sure if it. He used to go out in the middle of the night. God bless Charlie Parker. Thinking of his neighbors. I mean, that's a good neighbor. Charlie Parker, when he lived in New York, would literally go out on the Brooklyn Bridge in the middle of the night and practice his scales. And he would just play scales all night, staying on the Brooklyn Bridge. Because saxophone, you want to be doing that in your apartment. Some people would. And it's like, really? Come on, man. No. God bless. Charlie Parker went out and practiced he woodshedded on the Brooklyn Bridge. So I would love to know where he stood. I would love to stand in that spot. That would be an amazing thing for me. I wonder if it's marked. Anybody know that? David is not around so much because he's working again. God bless him, and that's an awesome thing. So it's completely different ergonomics to play it there than. I mean, it's like it's a totally different lick. So again, starting on the G string, we got open, second, third, open B, third, open, and third. Okay, so let me write this down. All right, you guys are keeping tabs on questions, right? If there's any questions I need to be aware of. I'm going to call this major blues, G major blues. G major blues. Because we are definitely adding a blue note in there. All right. So here that is what I played. You can get a visual on that. So you can see, look directly above and you can see it's just, we only added 2 notes. We added 2 B flats. The B flat only occurs twice in the open position and we used both of them, all right? So there's a little bit of what you would call a chromatic run in there. 3 notes, the A to B flat to B is a chromatic run. Oh, Kevin Hart's great. Oh, Dennis Miller too. Yeah, Dennis Miller was awesome. I like Chris Rock a lot too. Eddie Murphy, Richard Pryor. Yeah, a lot of classics there. Gary Shandling was another one that was really, really, really good. I like Seinfeld stand up too. But I mean, when we would go to church, it was a half-hour drive from Pasadena to our church, and the kids, I didn't want them to be bored on the ride, so we would listen to music, and we would listen to, but a lot of times I would get comedy records, and I got Bob Newhart, which were great. He was like, his story is fascinating, because he was literally like a CPA, and then what's his name? Steve Martin, who just cracked me up. And he's more of a visual comic, but for some reason the record still worked. Those records were huge when I was in high school. And then also Bill Cosby. And his comedy is hilarious. I mean, it's great for kids, ironically. Sad, but it's just true. Okay, so the C major pentatonic was here, 3rd fret on the 5th string. That's C. And the notes in the C major pentatonic are C, D, E, G, A. No worries, there won't be a quiz on this. The C major blues pentatonic, C, D, E flat, E, G, A. And what that is basically you're looking at a root, a second, a flat third, a third, a 5th, and a 6th. Okay? There's no 7th in this. 700 centimeters. I'll check that out. What do I want this? Okay. Here's the major pentatonic in C. Open position. 3rd fret, 5th string. Open D string, 2nd fret. On the D string, open G string, 2nd fret. We're going to go to 1st fret for the C note on the B string. And then 3rd fret. And then open E. And then pinky, 3rd fret with the 3rd finger. And then backwards 3 open. 3, 1. I love that. just that much of it. And then there's going to be where our blue note is, so we're going to have to get the pinky involved in this scale, the major blues. Okay, but anyway, go back to 2nd fret, the A note on the G string, open G, 2nd fret, open, and 3rd fret on the 5th string. Now you can go down to A, 3rd fret down there, and open E, and then back up to 3rd fret, open like that to get the bottom notes that are all in the key of C major pentatonic. Okay, so the blues one is 3rd fret, start there, same spot, and then open D, 1st fret, 2nd fret, just like the G. Not even that. Oops. Kind of almost like a bass line. That would be like a bass line solo kind of thing. And then open G string, 3rd fret. And then 1st fret, 3rd fret, pinky, open E, 3rd fret. So then 3, 0. 4, 3, 1, and then 2, open, 2, 1, open, 3. And then we can go down A, open A, G, E, if we want, G, back to G, A, B, or C, C, D, E, so that classic bluegrass lick, the most common bluegrass lick of all time, in C would be 3rd fret on the 5th string, then open 1st, 2nd. So kind of put a little pause after that root note. Let that note settle, and then start the lick. It's almost like the lick. This is like the setup. Okay, we're in C, and then here's the lick, right? I don't know. It's just kind of like that. So hit that 3rd fret and then go open D, 1st fret, 2nd fret, open G, 2nd fret, back to open G, and then hit that C note. So I'm going to go slower. I'll do it in slow motion. Slow motion. Slow motion sip. That wears me out. I'm just here to entertain you. And I have to say, I do feel very grateful that I get to make a living playing guitar. It's very rare, and I know there are a lot of people that wish they could do something in arts for a career. It's very rare, and I don't really recommend it to anyone. You know, it's very ironic when people say, "Should I be a musician?" I'm usually like, you know. My oldest son Alex is a musician. He's doing very well though. He's far at 28. He's light years ahead of where I was at 28. So, but the thing is that I realize that most people have to do what I call real jobs. I mean, I'll tell you, when 9/11 happened, I couldn't work for a couple of weeks just because I didn't feel like I was even worthy to pick up my guitar. I was like, I don't have a job I'm not a soldier, I'm not a firefighter, I'm not a policeman, I'm not, you know, all these jobs of people that were losing their lives, you know, and just all that. But also I do feel oftentimes, I remember flying into Minneapolis one time, and I was flying in, and there was like I'm looking down out my window, there's like for 5 minutes, it's nothing but warehouses with semi trucks and trucks pulling in and pulling out and doing, you know, delivering. And I was like, thank God for people that do real jobs. Because I wouldn't have clothes, I wouldn't have glasses, I wouldn't have coffee, I wouldn't have a mug that says there will be no quiz on this in the morning or whatever. There will be no quiz on this. I wouldn't have a guitar. I would be starving right now. I'm grateful to all of you who actually do real jobs in life and make things work, especially with the 4th of July coming up. And Alex is going to be over. We may do a 4th of July jam tomorrow, okay? California has outlawed everything. We actually have some friends coming over, but don't tell Gavin Newsom. They've outlawed everything in California for the weekend, and yet they're going to be big, major protests. I'm like, really? Why can't they outlaw those? I don't understand. It's like, so we're actually going to have some protest flags at our backyard just in case the police show up and say, "Why are you gathering?" I mean, it's only going to be like 6 of us, but if the police show up, we'll. Oh, congratulations, Jim. Jonathan Winters was great. I mean, Jonathan Winters was a huge influence on Robin Williams. So sad. Oh gosh. Yeah, Jonathan Williams was a huge influence on Robin Williams. Right. I hope so. I hope that's the case. And you know, what I like to do with YouTube is teach people how to play a little bit and bring joy into their life, into the lives around to the people around them, and that is a good thing. And because our lives are not just our jobs, and so I know that there's a lot of people that like are weekend warriors, or they play when they get home, and it gives them something to look forward to. So for that I'm glad. You know, in fact, in some ways, maybe I'm helping people do their job and keep America moving and progressing, because you know, keeping things going, because you know, at least at the end of the day I can pick up my guitar and play some guitar. So yeah, that's exactly right. We're gonna have a protest poster in our backyard. It'd be like, yeah, no, we're having a protest. Oh, that's awesome. So let's see, Ed, so my birthday is next Friday, and I will do the lesson next Friday. Okay, so no. Okay, so let me write this out, and then I touched my face, so we can all take a sip. It's one of the punitive sips. All right, so let me write this out, and then we'll do the D major blues blues next. It's not pentatonic. I'm not calling them pentatonics because pentatonic would imply 5 notes, but we have 6 notes, so you can't really call it a pentatonic. It's an altered pentatonic maybe, but even then I wouldn't use the word pentatonic. It's deceptive. Okay, C major blues. So that's C, open, 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 open. All right, and here's this. And again, I will, and somebody was having a hard time getting into the Discord because the links that I post there, of course, expired, and they're definitely expired. I don't even know if they exist on the playback later, but I'm going to get the link for the Discord so that if there's anyone watching that hasn't joined that group, you can join it. And up there is every PDF pretty much that I've done since I started doing these lessons back at the beginning of the COVID thing. So let's see, invite people, copy link, post it over here, boom. All right, so there's that. Okay, so there's that link. Yeah, happy birthday, Ed. Let's see. Flat 6, major 6, flat major 7, 1. You remember those? How to reharmonize. You could totally reharmonize Happy Birthday 1,000 different ways. So I could have used, instead of G, I could have used D minor, right? It's like, this is your 407th birthday. So I'm like, let's see, let's see. Yeah, that's a good one right there. That's the F major with the sharp 11. Let's see. Okay. There we go. There we go. I could just do all major thirds. So all I'm doing there is I'm playing a C on top. It's just like an ending thing. Instead of ending on C, I'm going. And all I'm doing is, you can do this with me. Put your second finger on the C note, third finger, or first finger on the E there. Okay, just go like this. Up to F. So this is E, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F. That's all I'm doing. Okay, but I'm doing that while keeping the C on top. Isn't that cool? A little jazz trick. And so what happens is that's F. This is E augmented. This is E flat 6. This is D7. This is D flat major 7. You have to accommodate the notes into the name of the chord. You know, it's just a chromatic rundown. So anyway, private Strahle concert. Okay, so D. So the D major pentatonic was the open D string, start there. Okay, 2nd fret, 4th fret. So we're gonna use our 1st and 3rd finger for those notes. And then the 1st finger on the 2nd fret. So we're not doing any open G, there's no open G there. And then open B, and then 2nd fret, or 2nd finger on the 3rd fret of the B string. Open E and F sharp, and then go up to, might as well, since we're already in the 2nd position, might as well go ahead and grab this A. Now, I prefer to play it like this. So I have both of these written out here. In fact, here it is. See, here's the one using the open B string, and then here's the one using a fretted B string, and then also a fretted E string. Just once you're going to fret, you might as well just keep going. But this one, technically, if you start with the open D string, it has only one open string in it. This one at least has 3. So, you know, it's up to you. I would get them both down if you can. They both work great over the D chord. That's just hard to me. That's easier to get that B note there instead of on the B string. But again, that's part of the reason why you almost have to work separately on open scales versus regular scales that you would play up the neck. Because the relationship, the interplay between your right hand and left hand when you're playing fretted notes is like they get used to working together. You know, if this hand's making a note, this hand plucks a note. Okay? So they kind of get used to working together. However, when you use an open strings, sometimes your left hand is doing nothing but staying out of the way. And your right hand is like, well, wait, should I pluck the string? So there's that tendency to hesitate with the right hand. And so I can play faster than I can play faster up the fretboard, fretting every note, than I can with less work, technically. Technically, you have less work if it's open strings. But there's this thing that I spend most of my time playing all fretted scale notes. And so my right hand is, like I said, used to playing when my left hand is making something. And so that's why I have to really set aside time to work on the open strings, the open string scales, if I want to play any country, bluegrass, folk music, even rock. There's a lot of rock songs that have open, even blues. So you kind of have to, it's almost two different things to practice. And the great thing about open strings is there's just a certain mojo about having open strings in your scales and in your playing. There's other types of things like hybrid stuff, like I've showed you before, where it's like for example, if I'm going to go. So what I'm doing there is I'm bringing in open strings in a scale that I'm playing up the neck. And that's a really, really cool thing. Hey, Frank, what's going on? So let's see. So the D major, okay, so the D major blues scale. Open D string, and then we're going to use our first finger on the second fret, and then second finger on the third fret, and third finger on the fourth fret. And so the notes in this scale are going to be, normally the D major pentatonic is that. The D major blues is D, E, F sharp, A, B. Oh, oops. Sharp, A, B, right? Yeah. All right. So the notes are root, second, flat, third, fifth, and sixth. Kind of fun. And so we start with the D, which is the root, the E, which is the second, the F, which is the flat third, and the F sharp, which is the normal third, the major third. So, okay, and then no G string. We're gonna play the G string, but we're gonna just play the second fret, which is the A. Penny dropped on you on Wednesday about how to figure out the open skills. Oh, awesome. Awesome, Catherine. Yeah, I told you, just make your own book, for crying out loud, You'll learn more making a book than you will buying and studying a book, right? That's why I do it, because in the process of discovering scales, you learn 3 times what you would have learned by just buying a book that had the scale in it. Okay. Now, here's where we're going to hit a crossroads. I'm going to go ahead and do the all open string version here, but I'm going to also do the other version, so I'll have to move that around here. But open B string, second, let's see, second finger on the third fret, open E. This is going to be a little weird here. I'm going to play the F with my first finger, and then the F sharp with my first finger, and then pinky. Not optimal. See if I go. See. Even this is not good. There's no great way to play that. Nah. Or you could just do that far. You don't have to go up to the A. You guys love it when I struggle. I know you do. Ever played this scale, and so why am I showing it to you? Makes no sense. No, it just kind of fills out the knowledge base here. And it's, that lick is right there. You need to know that. But as far as being able to play it with opens, not. But anyway, here, I'm going to write it out so we got it. And then I'll write it out also with more fretted notes and less open strings, okay? So D major blues. And this wouldn't be a problem, like for example, if I were playing up the fretboard, it wouldn't be a problem. If I were playing up the fretboard, it would be that, which is just, it's real, like the G one, you just play it way up at the 7th fret and you got the D blues. But the whole point of this lesson, these lessons are to learn them with using open strings. And that's what we're doing. Oh, shoot, not that. Wait. Yeah, that. So that is open. If you want to get this note, you can, and then also you can go down here. Okay, D major blues with a typo. Okay, so this is kind of the way we would play this, that bottom right hand one there. Okay, this is kind of the way we would play it. But I think I would prefer to play it more up the fretboard. So I'm going to write it over here like this. So open, D, and then, and again, I'm going to upload this to Discord. Still not a great scale because it's pretty stretchy. A lot of notes you got to kind of get to. Oh, I got to put X through the at D's. Okay, and again, there's only 2 D roots in here. But so this one up over here, right up here, that's the more fretted version of it. Don't worry about this one so much. I would get that first bit. So let's practice that first bit of it to be able to do that classic bluegrass lick in the key or in the D chord. Request from Peroni. Okay. Peroni. Touch of gain, please. I'm up pretty loud. Is everybody else having a problem hearing? I mean, I could go up more, but I don't want to distort. I have to remember to turn it down too when I record. So that the lick is D, open D string, first finger on the 2nd fret, 2nd finger on the 3rd fret, 3rd finger on the 4th fret, 2nd fret on the G string, 4th fret with the 3rd finger on the G string, and then, well, back to the A note, which is the 2nd fret, and then up to the D on the B string, which is at the 3rd fret. So it's, here's the lick, and slowly. And plucking wise, you should be down, let's see. Probably down, down, up, down, up, down, up. No, I'm sorry, down. So down, down, up, down. Shoot. Down, down, up, down, up, down. Oh, yeah, so I forgot about that note. So you're going to start with down, 2 downs. Down, down. And you're going to, it's hard to say that and do it at the same time. You hadn't seen a struggle before. So yeah, it's, you know, let me pull up the jam track, and I'll also send you a link. I'll post a link to the jam track. And remember, you can always slow down the jam track. Right here, go to videos. Oh, I didn't need to do that. I could have just done this. Okay. Bluegrass. All right, here's that. And then here's, boom. Okay, so there's this track here that weird, not playing. Do I have internet? Yep. Okay.
Would you believe a few simple changes in your diet?
Living with arthritis, interesting.
Joint pain and arthritis.
So this is 100 beats per minute. And I go D, G, C, G, D. So I'll try to use these major pentatonic. You get the idea. Hey, Mugu. All right. So the jam track's great for just kind of working that kind of stuff out. Also, we talked about maybe potentially creating some exercises using the scales we've learned. So let me scan this right now. All right. And let me scan this, and then I'll post it to the Discord site. All right. Oh nice. You were doing this on keys earlier. Oh cool. Let's see. All right, I've got to go to here. Come on. There you are. And I'm going to scan this, and then I'll also grab a link for the Discord. Everybody here pretty much is on Discord. How many people we have watching right now? 35, so maybe not. Wow, we got up there. What is that? 39. Okay, cool. Pretty good. I probably should do more on the weekends. I'm just I tried to pick some consistent time. And ultimately, when Beth goes back to work, weekends, I want to try to keep as available as possible. But, you know, let's see. All right, so, all right, sorry. Exit. Okay, save as a PDF. What did I call this before? So these are, okay. These are going to be major pent and major blues. Okay? Oops. Not bless, blues. All right. So they're saved. Now go to the Discord. It's all so exciting. I'll get a new link too. Let me do that first. Here's the link for the invite for Discord if you are not on it. Right here. And then go to Tom's Bookmarks, which is one of the tabs on the left if you join the thing. And then I just hit a plus sign and enter. No, not Apex Legends stuff. I'm not going to upload any of that. Okay. All right. Also, I have a song that came out that I co-wrote and played guitar on with Pooh Bear, and he's releasing it. I'll post that. Let me find it. YouTube. It's called Inside Out, and the beginning of it. I'm not sure if this is an official upload, to be honest. It's weird because it's on his. Yeah, it says it's on his YouTube channel.
This is Kyle.
This is Kyle. Okay, that's not part of the song. All right, so. Oh, sure. There we go. Dang it! I hate it when your thing you're clicking on jumps down and you end up clicking on something else. Okay, so this song called Inside Out. The intro on this, you can listen to. I'm not going to play it because I don't want to get a takedown notice. But the intro on this is actually that's guitar. It's a kind of a cool sound I did where I created a triplet where I hit a chord and the first echo went to the left speaker, I think, and the second echo of it went to the right speaker. So I would go boom, 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 boom. So dun, 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 dun. So it's kind of a cool little effect. Okay, rough idea of when you might jam tomorrow. It depends on when Alex comes over. The people that we've invited over are coming over at 4, so send the police then. Pooh Bear from Salton Sea. Pooh Bear is the guy that pretty much wrote every song on the new Bieber record. So it's actually Pobear. I don't know who the Salton Sea is, but Pooh Bear's been a writer since he was 14 years old, from Atlanta, but he lives out here now, and we write together. We also wrote a song for Nico and Vince called "Not for Nothing," and we wrote songs. Well, and he wrote ETA. So the song I wrote for Bieber called ETA. Pooh Bear wrote the top line on that, which is the lyrics and the melody. You know, the one that song. So let's see. Yeah. So as far as when that's going to happen, probably going to happen before 4 my time because I think Alex is going to show up early. I told him to show up anytime he wants, but everybody else I said show up around 4 o'clock. And we'll have fireworks, I'm sure, because I hear them all the time all around me. It's weird. I didn't hear any last night, which tells me they're like saving them up. So it's on the 4th. It's going to be crazy. Oh, yeah. It's not Peroni. It's not him. I know for a fact. Yeah. Yeah. Pooh Bear's a. Yeah, well, in the song Inside Out, we wrote quite a while ago, and I really liked it. I'm so glad it finally came out. So I'm excited about that. And so let's see what else is going on. Okay, so an exercise. This is more like an exercise. Okay, basically what I want to do is I want to play. Sorry, I'm trying to get my windows organized so I can see what I'm doing here. Okay. So I'm going to play a G major scale ascending and G mixolydian descending. Okay? And so what I'm doing is 3rd fret on the bottom string, open A, 2nd fret, 3rd fret, open, 2nd, 4th, open, 3rd, 2nd, open, 3rd, 2nd, open, 3rd. Do that again with me. 3, open, 2, 3, open, 2, 4, open G string, backwards 3, 2, 1, or 3, 2, 0, 3, 2, 0. Now you'll notice these two scales are identical for the first 6 notes. All the way up to the E note, or the 6th degree of the scale, the G major and G mixolydian scale are identical. And so, so the part where it actually changes is here. Instead of the F sharp descending, you're going to play F natural. So if you want to, you can practice that a little bit. Starting on the D string, D, E, F sharp, G, F, E. Now, there's two reasons to do this. For one thing, it sounds cool over the G chord, but the other reason would be because it accommodates the C chord. So if your timing is such, that's where the C chord comes. Now you're playing a C scale because G mixolydian is the same notes as C major. All right. Yeah. Well, no, sip, yes, sip for showing them. It's a celebratory sip. If there's not going to be a quiz, this is me telling you there's not going to be a quiz on this. Nothing in there. So, all right. So yes, always take a sip. Hook. Where's hook? Hook. I don't see hook. Okay. Okay. So now another one we could do is G major pentatonic ascending and G minor pentatonic descending. Okay, that one's up. That's a great exercise, actually. Because it's tricky, but you can get it down. So it's, I should write this in like tab or something. But third fret, so start on the G, open A, second fret, open D, second fret, G, and then D, come back down on the D string, go to third fret, open D, third fret, the C note, B flat, and then G. So the thing that's good about it is that there's an open string on the A string, but not coming down. So ascending, you get an open, and you could pull off to the open A, or slide up to the B, like that. So that sounds great. So I just combined two scales, the G major pentatonic and the G minor pentatonic. All right, let's see. I can go old school on this. This is how I used to write tab in guitar lessons, because I didn't have tab paper, no such thing. Back in the 70s, I would write a 1 and a 6. The top line is the first string, and that thing that kind of not looks like a 6 down there, that's the 6th string. Okay, you see the 6 strings? So that lick that I just did was 3, open, 2, open, 2, open, 3, open, 3, 1, 3. So basically what I did was I did G major, major pent, and G minor pent. Okay? Tablature. I don't usually write tab anymore, but I don't mind doing it. That's kind of exercisey, okay? If you went 3 like this, or so 2 ends. I wrote 2 different ends there. If you do something like that, then it becomes more of a lick and less of an exercise. Okay. The nice thing about the exercise is that what it does is it gets you, Jan's in the house. It gets you thinking both scales at the same time almost, okay? Because when we're soloing, I mean, just teaching these lessons, I'm getting better. I see moments where I'm like, oh, that was cool. Okay, that was cool. And then I'm like, I oftentimes I paint myself in a corner. And that happens a lot, especially at higher tempos. But when I'm thinking too much is when I tend to paint myself in a corner. When I just kind of play, I just stop thinking and I just start playing. That's when I end up with more musical ideas, if that makes sense. So this is an example of taking kind of a hybrid approach. But instead of combining all the notes into one scale, what I did was I played the major pentatonic ascending and the minor descending. What if we did the opposite? Let's see if I can come up with something that would be like the opposite. So if I went. Okay, let me do that one, okay? So basically what I'm doing is I'm doing G minor pentatonic ascending. And when I get to the B flat up here, I slide it up to the B natural, which is in the G major pentatonic. And then what that does is that kind of is a trigger to send me into the G major pentatonic. So here it is. G, third fret, first fret, B flat, C, third fret, open D, third fret, open G, third fret. Okay, so there's our G minor pentatonic. And instead of playing the open B string, I'm going to slide up to the B fret, or the B note, and then second fret, open, second fret, open, second fret, open, third, okay? So it could be really easy. Let's see. So I'll write that out. And I'll scan these and put these up too, don't worry. All right. So again, I'll put a space, and then it's 1 and 6. Put 2 spaces. 1, 6. Okay. Hopefully this makes sense. You can figure it out. Okay, so ascending was G minor pentatonic. So G, B flat, C, D, F. Oh, I just wrote F instead of 3. Damn it. Okay, 3. Open B flat, which is 3. Slide that up to 4, 2, 0, 2, 0, 2, 0, 3. Okay, so ascending, we have G minor pent, and then descending all the way to there. We have G major pent. Okay? So I would call these like hybrid licks, and these are over the G chord. And that G minor pentatonic will work great over C chord. In fact, let me play that track. I touched my face, so take a sip. Apparently we're not supposed to touch our face in the COVID era. Hopefully this era won't be 90 years. All right, so jam. So I'm just gonna play, it won't work over the D scale, but the G minor. Now, the reason that kind of works is very much the reason why, I gotta stop this, there we go. Very much the reason why when you play a blues, and that all we're doing here, this scale is the same as the blues, the minor pentatonic here. Now when you're playing blues, that scale works fine there, and over the G. And over the C it works pretty good too. It doesn't work very good over the D, but if you're only on the D for a second, then it probably works okay. You can kind of concentrate on a couple notes on the 5-note scale, like the D and the F, and would be here. Over the D chord, it'd be fine. But you're only on a D chord for a second, so everybody knows you're going back to G. So hanging out in the D or G pentatonic is not going to be a problem. G minor pentatonic. So that scale kind of worked over the C, no problem. The only thing missing was the E note, which you can always add. And if you add the E note, you're almost making a C mixolydian scale. Okay. I think this would look better if it was white on black, maybe. I don't know if that's an option. And I think maybe the letters could be a little bigger. No, it's fine, right? I mean, I swear I had no idea what I was doing when I used their inspirational stuff. Whatever. So there's another. Let me come up with it. See if I can come up with another. So, let's see. What's another thing we could do? We had minor. We could do the blues. We could do like a G minor blues to the G major blues. What would that be like? It's like. Now let's see. Let's do. See something like that. So basically, it's kind of what I showed you at the beginning, but what I did was okay. So what I'm doing is I'm playing a G major scale ascending, G mixolydian scale descending. And I'm trying to make sure that I land on a C note for the next downbeat. So there's 4 beats total. I'm playing 16th notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. So is he? Yeah, so when I get down to the G, instead of going A, B, C, I'm actually having to go G, B, C. I'm having to skip a note so that my timing is right, okay? So I end up with 16 notes, and then the 17th note is the next bar and is a C note. See that? That's one of the things. It's like, boy, the good players, they do that on the fly. Like they keep track. Oh shoot, I'm not gonna make it. I better go faster. I'm not gonna make it. I better skip a note. Oh no, I'm not. Oh, I'm gonna get there early. I better add a note. It's that kind of thing. It's like, oh shoot, and they just do that on the fly. It drives me insane. It's like, gosh, Lukather was one of those guys that could do that. I'm getting better at it, like, because where it came into play for me, like in the early '80s, was you do some rock thing and you're going, you get up that last note and you're like, and you're early, or and you shoot, I'm gonna be late, and you get there late, and the band lands on the last note, and you got 2 more notes to go, and it's. But Lukather never did that. I don't know how he always landed on Lukather, and also who was the other guy that was like Luke? Drove me crazy. He came to L.A. and was working within 6 weeks. He came to L.A. 6 weeks after I did, and 6 weeks later he was working with David Bowie, and I was still I had 1 student, so it's just life. Okay, so G major going up, so 3 0 2 3 0 2 4 1 2 3. So we have G major, ascending G. And the reason I'm showing you these again is I feel like when you're going back and forth between 2 scales, you kind of are going to learn those 2 scales better than if you just do 1 scale. And we could do the total opposite on this too. We could go ascending G mixolydian and descending G major. Okay, so let me. Hopefully. Got my keyboard on here. I was working on some music. Okay, so we did this one. Now I'm going to scan this one. We're back to our CSI moment. Did Bob kill Tim? Google. Hey Google, did Bob kill Tim? Close. Okay. Oh, yeah. That's what I want. So I'm going to call this hybrid scale licks number 1, okay? In case we do more of these. Story time. I need a story idea. I can't. Story. I know. I started to tell a story there, kind of, but it ended. It was a very quick story. Okay, so that one's done. Again, okay, so uploading, exit, save as PDF. Let's see, what did I say? Hybrid scale riffs 1. Save. Hopefully this is legible. I mean, are any of my things legible? Here's the Discord going back there, uploading. Hybrid scale, boom. Okay. I love how it must be a PC based system because I love how it puts the underscore between every word. I don't do that. On Macs it's spaces, but it must be a PC thing. All right, so close, quit. All right, don't need that open. All right, so story. Question above. Question: when you're picking, do you use more upstrokes or downstrokes? Yeah. Ultimately, you want to use both, upstrokes, downstrokes, and usually it's about 50-50. So, like for example, that lick that I wrote out, the last one, right here. I told you it was 16 notes. So essentially, that could be 2 bars of G, or it could be 1 bar of G. If it was 2 bars of G, we would play them like 8th notes. I don't want to confuse you here, but This should be down, up, 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 down. See how you end on a down there? So that means having to kind of slow things down. You can practice down upping like this. All the bluegrass players, most all guitar players alternate pick, especially if you're only going to use downstrokes, you're going to lose half of your speed. Let's say you can play 100 miles an hour using downstrokes. That means you can play 200 miles an hour if you bring in upstrokes, because for every downstroke, there's an upstroke you're not using. Okay, does that make sense? But there are times where, like there, yeah, the picking thing is definitely something that will come with time, and it's one of those things, like so many things, when you want to get good at something, to take it slow and don't make mistakes, and then as you speed it up, it'll go a lot faster. And if you want help with it, you basically just do little teeny bits. That's like too big of a chunk. So if you just go D, string, and then third fret, do something like that. Down, up, practice your down ups. And then add another string in there. So, sorry, I'm reading the comments and letting my fingers just do what they do. Yeah, I've installed a garbage disposal before, just once. It works. I think it's still working wherever it is. In the building I managed, but I didn't have to do any of that stuff. I just like doing it sometimes because I figured, hey, I'm learning how to do it for myself, can practice on other people. But yeah, do little baby chunks to get that up down thing going, and then you like that. See, I'm going 0, 2, 3, 2. That's great, but you'll notice that's a 4-note pattern. Right? It's 4-note patterns are going to make sense with up and down alternating picking, because it's two options over here, down and up, and then you got 4 notes here. Try doing a 3-note pattern so that then they kind of get out of sync a little bit. Does that make sense? What happens is then you've got down on the D string, open D string, up on the E, down on the F, and then this time when you play the open D string, you're playing up. Okay, and that will help you play alternating picking on your right hand while doing odd number notes on your left hand. It's easy when you're doing even numbers like that, or not easy. It's a little bit easier. It's a little bit like not disconcerting. What's the word I'm looking at? Kind of like almost like a finger twister when. So just break it down into very, very, very simple bite-sized pieces. Okay, don't eat the whole steak in one bite. And then the same thing with this scale. You know, this last lick was just. Now, if there's a pause, then that's down, down, up, down. Okay. Because there's an up in between that pause and the next note. If I showed it to you on paper, you would see, like if I wrote that lick out on paper, it would be a quarter note and then 6 eighth notes, which then that's 1 bar, and then the last bar would be whatever, a whole note that was a G, that note. Okay, and so let me write that out real quick. So I'll show you I'm not going to write out the, well, I can write out the lick, but I'm more interested in showing you the rhythm. All right. And this is what I notice about bluegrass players. So the rhythm of that really super standard bluegrass lick is this. Bum ba da 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 da. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1. Or slower. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1. Okay. Now, basically what we're doing is a downstroke, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. That way we end on a downstroke. And there, technically, even when you do 2 upstrokes in a row, you have two downstrokes in a row, you have an upstroke. You just can't hear it because you're missing the string when you're coming up, okay? You're very welcome, Pepper. Happy to help. So you can see that. So it's down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. And it makes sense. So the down beats, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So here are the beats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. The down beats are downstrokes. And then the upbeats, the ands, they're upstrokes. Downbeats and upbeats. Okay? And that's if we're playing. Now, most bluegrass, the licks, because the tempos are really fast. See, 100, no. The one that I did 100, see, let's see, where is that? Do I have it right here? Where is it? Yeah, here's the jam, okay? I'm going to double the speed. I'm going to go to 2 times speed. That's more typical. So yeah, you wouldn't be playing 16th notes. 16th notes. Two, three, four. Yeah, I mean, some guys play that fast, but this is a tempo is 200 beats per minute. Yeah, that's 200 beats. Yeah. So to solo over that. So you get, it's a whole nother ball game. It's a whole nother ball game. But so generally when bluegrass players solo, they're using alternate picking, but they will use 2 downs in a row or 2 ups in a row if the notes fall on the downbeats consecutively or on the upbeats consecutively. Okay. So if you want to hear what upbeats consecutively sound like, that would be something like this. So 2, 3, 4. So this is all 8 notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Here's what it would be. Right? 3, 4. So I'm using all upstrokes. Yeah, I know I should solo it. I have to. If I get in the zone, I could kind of do it, but this is forever. I don't want to have to delete a live stream because I showed how much of a hack I am. So I'm kind of shocked that nobody's asked me about that white guitar in the back there. But anyway, most of you know what that is. In fact, I was going to do, what time is it? Oh gosh, it's already 12, almost 12:30. All right. So here's the other thing. We may broadcast simultaneously on my channel and Alex's channel. Yeah, it's a sitar. Yep, exactly right, Frank. Or I'm sorry, Jim. It's a sitar, yeah. Oh, the box was, and I put it away. It was a chromatic lap dulcimer, Appalachian dulcimer. So I can play in all keys now, not just like whatever key I'm tuned open to. I don't know if you guys have seen a strum stick, but I can get that. Hold on a second. Okay, I'm going to leave the room, take a sip. So I bought this a while ago. Have never really used it on anything. This is not the thing I got on Wednesday. But this is, if you'll look at the frets, you can see the frets are set up to play a major scale instead of a chromatic. You see that? So you almost can't hit a bad note on this thing. But I really haven't used anything because it's almost worthless unless the song is in D. Or I could tune this to E or E flat, or I could tune it down to C sharp or C. And it was kind of, I think I paid $125 for it. And I mean, it was made in Canada, I think. Yeah, Canada. It's got, it's nice wood, but I just thought, it's pretty. Like I said, I haven't really used it for anything. So basically, what it is this is a lap dulcimer that you can play standing up. So you can't really hit a bad note. Maybe there. That's the only bad note you can hit. Let's see. The garbage is a motorized grinder mounted. Yeah, I call it disposal. Garbage disposal. But anyway, so this is a strum stick, which is basically a take on the dulcimer. And like I said, I really haven't found any use for it. But it's kind of cool, and it looks good hanging on the bathroom wall. Like I said, if it were chromatic, but that's not much different. It's not as good sounding as a mandolin. But the double string thing's kind of cool. But I can't play an F natural, or I can't play an A flat. I can't play a C sharp. So it kind of it's kind of useless. Somebody was asking about regrets, gear purchase regrets. That's not really one of them. Let's see. Diane wants a story. What can I tell? I mean, there's always fun stories if I start to think about bands I played in. Oh gosh. Whoa, what was it? I'm trying to think of the other time stuff that's happened, but I had a band. I did a video on are all good band names taken, and I don't know if I've ever had a band with a good band name, but I had a band called Body, B-O-D-Y, and I know that sounds weird, but it was the '80s, and there was a pseudo Christian reference in the body of Christ kind of thing, and that we were all different parts. We had a bass player and a drummer and a singer and a guitar player, so everybody's playing different parts of the body. It's a Christian reference. And it wasn't a Christian band per se, but it was, we were all Christians, but it was all, it was kind of like Police music. We were kind of doing Police. It was, and I wouldn't say it was before U2. U2 was around. It was like 83, 84, 85, maybe into 86. I don't think we got that too far into 86. I'm pretty sure we were done by 86. And it was a trio. I was the guitar player, did all the writing. And I kind of got a reputation of just talking to strangers and then having them just happen to be connected. We did this gig. There were so many places that don't exist anymore in LA. Let's see, I'm trying to remember. This was probably Club 88 in Santa Monica, which I'm pretty sure doesn't exist. Let me see. Club 88, probably the address. I don't know. Los Angeles. It said. It's in Los Angeles. What the heck? Club 88. Okay, that's a label. Releases disc. Set list. Punk Pioneers. Okay, well, they're definitely Punk Pioneers venues. Yeah, well, here you go. Wonder if it says, has history on here. Category Club 88. Oh, no, that's a... Well, it says venues. Let's see. Iconic. Yeah, I mean, it was a pretty good sized club, and there were definitely people there. There were definitely had been bands there. I'll have to see if I can find more information on it. But the we sound checked, and me and the drummer decided to go outside, and it was kind of it was just late at night. I don't think it was a bad neighborhood necessarily. But we go to this hot dog joint. I don't think it was Pink's, but it was a good hot dog joint in Santa Monica or in Los Angeles. And we go to get some food. And we're waiting in line for our hot dog. We're ordering our hot dogs. We're waiting around. And there's this kid with a gym bag. And he's a black kid, probably 20, 21 years old, not much younger than us. And he's got a gym bag, and he's obviously just getting back from the gym working out, and he's sitting at the bus stop waiting for the bus to show up or something, or just hanging out. And I start talking to him, and we're playing. I mean, it's like a Tuesday night at 10 o'clock or something. I mean, when you first start out in clubs, they give you the worst nights, and they're like, well, if you can get 25 people out at Tuesday night at 10 o'clock, then we'll give you a Wednesday night at 11 o'clock. And then you got to get 50 people out. It's like, it was just the hardest work trying to get people to show up at gigs. I mean, it's like, it's just brutal. And I mean, unless you had a huge reputation, we hadn't built ours yet and never got to the point where we had one. Some pretty good music though, I thought, but we weren't a bad band, good musicians. So I started talking to this kid, and I'm like, my whole point and reason talking to the kid was like, hey, I have a band. If you're not doing anything, you want to come over and see, I've got a ticket. You can come in, it's free. You don't have to pay anything. And he's like, oh, you're in a band? Oh, that's cool. My dad's a record producer. And really? You're like, who did you producing? Oh, my dad produced Fleetwood Mac. And it's like, what? And Scott's just like, are you kidding me? You just go up to some random stranger and start talking to him. He turns out his dad's a record producer. I was like, oh my gosh. So he had to go, but he was like really grateful that I asked him and stuff like that. So we talked a little bit longer, and then our hot dogs were ready. And so we got our hot dogs and we went back to the club. And then we go to the club, and we're of course playing at 10, and there's a band getting ready to go on at 9. And I start talking to I start going around the room, and keep in mind, my grandfather was a congressman and my dad was a salesman. So I kind of have that gene, that DNA of talking to strangers. And so I went up to this guy who was wearing, like, at the time it was one of those silk jackets, with like a big, like, Chinese dragon on the back, and he looked important. He was probably in his 40s, and he looked important. And I am 22, 23, 24 years old. And I go up to him and I say, hey, hi, I'm Tom. My band's going to be playing at 10 o'clock. Are you going to be sticking around? Or, he goes, well, I'm actually here to see the band at 9 o'clock. And I go, oh, okay. Well, if you think about sticking around, I mean, we're playing right after them. So if you would, if you're interested, and he had some people with him, I said, it would be great. We don't know anybody out here. It would be great. And he goes, well, what's your name? And I talked to him, and he goes, well, here's my card. Give me a call. And he hands me a card. He like works for a record company. He was there to see that band for the label. And I'm like, what? And Scott was like, how do you do that? You just walk up to this random person, two people in a row, and they're both somehow connected to the music industry. And I said, I'm just talking to people, you know. And yeah, I'm totally chatty. And so, so that was the night. I don't remember the gig per se. Other than that, some of the clubs. Let's see, we played at. So that was Club 88. I'm pretty sure that was Club 88, because we also played it at FM Station on Lancashire in North Hollywood, and actually FM stood for Filthy McNasties. And I remember that night because we played. It was election night, 1984. And I'd never had a drink in my life. Aside from a half a beer I pretended to drink in junior high, I'd never had alcohol before, but somebody wanted to buy me a drink, so I went ahead and had a whiskey or something, whiskey and Coke or something like that at the bar and at the FM station. So we do our set. Somebody really liked the music. They said, oh, can I buy you a drink? So I had the drink and then hung out for a little while, completely realizing, you know, I better wait a little bit before I drive home. And I'm driving home and I get pulled over. And I was driving home. It was pretty late at night and there was no one really on the road. It was the 134. It was pretty deserted, but there were like two cars like staggered, and I just kind of did this zoom around them I didn't need to do. But I was just like driving home fast, and all of a sudden, woo, behind me, and I'm like, oh shoot! And I'm not drunk. The drink I had was probably 2 hours before, and I'd probably eaten since then as well. But the officers pulled me over, and it was the night that Reagan got reelected, and it was two black CHIPS officers, and I thought, oh no, they're mad because Reagan won reelection, and they pulled me out of the car. They're like, can you get out of the car, please? And I'm like, sure. And I walk back there. I said, is my taillight not working? And they go, what? Excuse me? They said, is my taillight not working? They go, I don't know. We didn't notice. And I said, oh, okay. And they're like, do you know how fast you were going? And I said, no. They go, well, you're going pretty fast and you kind of swerved. You shouldn't do that. And I said, yeah. And so they gave me the ticket, and God bless them. I think it was the speed limit was 55. I was probably going 80, and they gave me a ticket. And this is back when speed limits were 55. It was ridiculous. They gave me a ticket for 69, one under a 2-pointer, and they didn't cite me for not signaling the lane changes. And the reason they asked me out of the car was because I wanted to see if I was drunk. And I got out of the car and I wasn't. You know, I walked straight, I talked straight, and I was telling them I was coming back from a gig, and they and I said, oh, can you check and see if my brake light's on? And they go, oh, okay, sure. For some reason, I had at that point in my head that my brake lights weren't working or something. That's why they pulled me over. But I checked and they gave me the thumbs up, and they turned on their lights and let me get in front of them so I could merge on the freeway. But anyway, it was like, that was a different night, though. That wasn't the same night. And what was the other club? See, there was one, Seven Seas or something like that. No, the Seven Seas was in Hollywood, and we never played there. It was a disco. And that was, I think it was an underground disco that I went to a few times with some friends. And it may have been because you could go and you didn't have to be 21 because they didn't serve alcohol, if I remember. It was like an underground disco in Hollywood in the 80s called the Seven Seas. And then, I don't know if any of you were here. Did I have a sax player? No, we didn't have a sax player in the 70s, no. But that's funny because Sheila, our sax player at church, she plays with Colin Hayes from Men at Work. She loves playing those songs because she played them in cover bands in the 90s. So, let's see. Oh, you were playing in Boston there. Yeah. It's just, things happen when you're playing in a band, and it's just funny. Madame Wong's is where I got my really nice Strat stolen. That was heartbreaking. It was a very good guitar, and that was a heartbreak. And we played there a couple times. I think that was the second time we played there, and I never wanted to play there again. In fact, that may have been the last time we ever played a club, because it was just like, that was really the only good guitar I had at the time. And I didn't have another good guitar for years after that. So it just was like, it destroyed me. The person who stole it had no idea. And the other thing, the person who stole it had no idea whose guitar it was. I mean, not mine. It was before I had it. It belonged to a guy named Caleb Quay, who toured with Elton John and Hall & Oates with that guitar and played on records and stuff. And that guitar was on Elton John records. And I even asked Caleb when I met him later in life, because I didn't buy it from him. I bought it from a friend of his that he sold it to. I asked him later in life if he remembered the guitar, and he did. And he said, I told him the story about it, and he said, you don't want me to tell you what songs I played that guitar on. I said, no. And that person who stole it has no idea, that guitar. I've tried, it's just not, it's be very hard to find. So, because I had the serial number on the neck plate, I had that on my key. I still have it on my keychain. That was 84, so almost 40 years later, I still have that neck plate on my keychain. I don't know why. It's like every time I look at that stupid keychain, I'm like, damn it, that guitar, I missed that guitar. It's like, shoot, what am I thinking? It's like my favorite scene from a Woody Allen movie. I love Woody Allen, and one of my favorite scenes is I can't remember what movie it's from. It may be Manhattan. I don't think it's Annie Hall. But he's in the movie. His character has one of those really nice penthouse apartments in New York City, and in Manhattan, and it's got like 25-foot ceilings, right? And on the wall, the size of the ceiling. On the wall, the size of the 25 feet up was a blow up of the Pulitzer Prize winning photograph of the Viet Cong guy getting executed in the street. Right, he's on his knees begging for mercy, and he's about to be executed. Now, what you don't realize is that you later find out. In fact, Oprah did a show about these pictures. That guy actually had just murdered an entire village of people with his soldiers or whatever, with his army. So he was being executed for what he just did. But anyway, so Woody's got that picture blown up, this 25 feet high in his apartment, and you can see it behind him, and he's on the phone, and he's talking on the phone. He goes, I can't figure out why I'm always so depressed. It's like he's so good at that, setting up a joke. It's classic. How did he steal it not knowing who it was? Well, because he didn't know who I was. It was at a nightclub, and somebody just grabbed it after I got off stage, and it took me a minute to figure it out because I thought one of my bandmates was playing a joke on me, so I didn't catch the guy. And I bought it from someone, and they don't know. There's no way to know. So. Let's see. You tried to go 88 in the Gremlin? Yeah, old friend and start shaking. I don't think Gremlins are allowed to go that fast. Let's see. Yeah, total Flintstone. Well, the worst one was the Pacer. And the Pinto. Pacer and American cars, oh my gosh, in the 70s. Awful, awful, awful. Whole reason Honda exists is because American cars are so awful. Anyway, I've got to go too. So I may see you tomorrow. Alex and I may log in. And like I said, we may both log in on both of our channels, okay? So if you log in on mine, I may send you over to his to check it out. So anyway. All right, so I will see you guys. Gosh, it's been an hour and a quarter. Wow, and of course now we're at a peak, 41. It's like what? Why? Story time. People came for the story time, I guess. Okay, well, listen. God bless you guys. And Monday, I'm not sure. What we're going to talk about. We may continue with open scales if I can think of some other directions to go on it, or maybe just some licks. I can continue to show you licks. Like I said, the cool thing about this lick here that I uploaded to the Discord site is that what it does is I would call this a connector lick, where it connects you from one chord to the next chord. It's not just, okay, let's play a G lick here, and then over the C chord, let's play a C lick. This actually gets you to C. Now, even better is a lick that gets you to and through C. So like if we were to continue this lick, that would be what I would call it, a through lick. They're going over two chords. So those are almost better than just. The last thing you want to do is do, you know, you don't want to just do a lick and then play another and then a C lick and then a G lick. You want to connect it all so you're kind of playing a melody that would work through it all. So anyway, I hope you're doing well. Happy birthday, Ed, and we will. I will see you Monday, Lord willing, and very likely tomorrow. Okay, so just maybe turn on the notifications. Have a great 4th. Okay, bye bye.